What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, another D and Duel commentary. My opponent's rating is 1406. Playing Infernity this time, not playing my usual Insectors. The deck seems to be really popular right now. I just wanted to test it out, see if it was as fun and good as everybody says it is. So he opens with Tour Guide, and I think he's going to go into Zenbane. So I'm pretty much putting him right now on Dark World, Macro Rabbit, or Fire Fist. I've got Upstart, Monsterborn, Necromancer, MST, and Call the Haunted. Almost too much of a good thing with Call of the Haunted and Monsterborn, so obviously I need an Archfiend in the graveyard, and I need a way to get it in the graveyard. So I draw Dark Grepha, so I've got my way of getting Archfiend in the graveyard now. And I use 2 Upstarts, which is really risky in this deck, because if you draw too many monsters, like, you can't do your plays, which sucks. So I go ahead and I blind MST him, just to see if I can get rid of like a mash removal card. I end up hitting Torrential, which means I feel like my play is really safe now. So at this point, I kind of got to go all in. So I'm going to play my Grepha. He doesn't warning it or bottomless it or anything like that. So I'm going to pitch my Necromancer, and since I've got Monsterborn and Call of the Haunted, obviously I'm going to put Archfiend in the graveyard, knowing that I can just Monsterborn my Necromancer. So he doesn't have any Fiendish Chains or anything like that for any of my plays. So I burn my Monster Reborn, targeting my Necromancer, and Necromancer is going to go ahead and it's going to summon my Archfiend. Now at this point, this is where Lavaval Chain really starts putting in work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm looking at my back row, Call of the Haunted, Infernity, Break, and at this point I think the right play is to kind of extend my field offensively. So what I do is I go ahead and I get another Archfiend, and I'm going to make Lavaval Chain. I'm going to dump, I'm going to put my Archfiend in the graveyard, detaching obviously, and I'm going to dump a street patrol so that I can summon the Archfiend that I just searched from my Archfiend. And this is just, it's going to extend my field, put a little more offensive pressure on him. He still has Zenbane sitting there in front of me, but you know, I feel like I can sort of play around that card. So at this point, I don't really have a great card to search. Break, Barrier, whatever. So I just go ahead and I settle on Infernity Launcher, which I play, and I'm looking to reborn my my Archfiend, but he MSTs it. So at this point, knowing that he's kind of down on cards, I feel like I have to adjust my game plan. I have 5 cards, and he's drawing to 5. So I feel like I can 1-for-1 him, because if he doesn't kill my Necromancer this turn, I can just reborn my Archfiend and make even more advantage. He summons Rabbit, so obviously I'm playing some sort of Macro Rabbit or something like that, which automatically means I've got to burn that Infernity Break, which I hated to do, but you know, there's no way in hell I'm going to let this dude drop Doko on me or drop Logi on me or something like that. So he ends up playing Pot of Duality since he didn't special summon the Rabbit, and he hits a Sabersaurus, a Gene Warped, and a Mirror Force, which is a really easy choice, because even though the 2 beaters that he grabs, you know, they can kill my Archfiend, kill my Lavaval Chain, you know, neither one of those guys can kill Necromancer. So not only are they not good, but he's already summoned. So, you know, the Mirror Force isn't like a really great play, because it's not a card you want people to know you have, because then they'll just infinitely try and play around it. But he really doesn't have a choice at this point. So he pretty much makes the only play that he can. He puts his Zenbanes in attack mode, and he crashes it into my Archfiend. Obviously, he's looking to try and get rid of my Infernity Necromancer. So he just detaches, and now he's going to set 2 cards. Obviously, I would assume one of them is Mirror Force. And at this point, he targets my my Necromancer, and I activate Call of the Haunted, getting my Archfiend back. This was, I think I might have misplayed here. I think I kind of lost track of, you know, when exactly the Necromancer goes to the graveyard and when I can Call it a Haunted it and still be safe. So anyways, I just searched for a Necromancer, and I draw another monster, which was god awful, because, you know, my original plan was to do the same play, was to make a very safe play of Black Ship of Corn, blow up his Zenbanes, and know that I could still use my Necromancer that I searched for my Archfiend to simply reborn the Archfiend and still have a really stable field. But, you know, drawing the Summoner Monk, it kind of threw things in a loop. So again, at this point, I'm just going to blow up his Zenbanes, and he only has 3 cards to my 5, so again, my whole win condition now is just grind the game out. It's 1-for-1ing this guy and trying to win that way. I feel like Torrential is pretty much the only card that can get him back into the game. I don't really feel like he has any other outs to beating me because he already expended a rabbit. So, you know, either he's going to like draw another rabbit or a dark hole. But anyways, so I use my Lavaval chain and I dump Street Patrol in the graveyard. And again, I wouldn't have had to do this if I hadn't drawn the monk. But now I have to. I go ahead and I put I summon Summoner Monk, and I'm gonna banish my Street Patrol so that I can get my other Necromancer to the field, or so that I can summon Necromancer. And obviously, I'm going to reborn Archfiend. Now, knowing that he has the Mirror Force on board, I feel like I can play around that. I mean, that's a card again that you never want your opponent to know you have. So at this point, I feel like Break is better because if I get Barrier and he gets a Beat Stick, that would obviously present some problems. So I don't even attack him. At this point, I'm just trying to build advantage up. And he summons a Tinky. You know, his biggest problem right now is my Necromancer, because if he doesn't do anything, all I'm going to do is exceed using the Monk and the Archfiend, and I'm just going to constantly use my Necromancer, reborning my Archfiend and making +1 every single turn until I just grind him out. He summons the bear, which I don't care about. I mean, if he blows up my Necromancer, I still have 3 Beat Sticks on the field, and he can't even get over Summoner Monk. So it's like, I'm not scared of bear. Like, that card don't do shit. You know, I had to lose my Necromancer, which was fine, but it wasn't, in my opinion, worth using my break on. And now I draw Barrier. Plus, I have Black Ship of Corn, so I can just blow up his bear, which I did, without even attacking. You know, he didn't have any responses. So at this point, I'm just going to put everybody in defense, and I'm just going to ram with Archfiend, knowing that I've got Barrier and Break. And I'm really trying to test the waters. I'm trying to see if he's going to use the Mirror Force. I'm like, don't use Mirror Force, don't use Mirror Force. And he doesn't. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to grind him down with 1800 and see how long he'll take it. He ends up topping Sabersaurus. And I'm like, I don't want my Black Ship of Corn to get run over. He ends up attacking the what's it called, the Monk. I guess he didn't want me to do an Exceed play. So I end up burning my Infernity Break, removing another one, which I didn't want to do, but whatever. Mirror Force comes along, 1 card too late. I do run Mirror Force because I think it's like probably the second best drop of the format. At this point, I think I might have gotten too greedy putting the Monk in attack mode. I didn't think he'd Mirror Force me, and I decided to just let it go. I don't really think that it's worth burning a Barrier on. I probably should have used Barrier on it, but whatever. I was hoping that I would just draw another Infernity and still have my Barrier live. So at this point, he's staring down 2 beaters, you know, a 21 and an 18, and he ends up deprisoning my boat, but he ends up eating the 18. And actually, I drew a way to get my Infernity Archfiend right back, so I'm really glad that I saved my Barrier because I've got Call of the Haunted. So he summons a Gene Warped, which makes me think maybe he didn't shuffle his deck if he drew Sabersaurus and Gene Warped off the duality, but I Mirror Force it anyway. And at this point, I'm just going to Call it a Haunted for the Archfiend, and I'm going to get my search. He plays Fiendish Chain, not wanting me to search, and this is exactly why I saved that Infernity Barrier. Now I can just Barrier it, and he pretty much knows at this point it's a wrap because I can just get my Necromancer back and just whatever. You know, Necromancer will get Archfiend, and then that's pretty much GG. So, yeah, Infernity is a pretty interesting deck. It's fast. It can play a grind down game, but as you guys can see, it can start really awkward. And if you draw too many monsters, I mean, you get wrecked. But thank you guys for watching. Maybe I'll have more duels with this deck soon, and take care.